Hello guys, it's me Sim Orahara, and in this video we will talk about a segment of the lives of Kira, Renji and Momo by exploring one of the notable chapters from volume 15 titled Untold Stories 17. This chapter is a part of a series where Kobo delves into the pasts of various characters, revealing untold tales. And as a PS guys, in this video we'll focus on the events of the chapter as well as the additions in the anime, because the anime adapted this chapter in episode 46 and most of the additions were well done in my opinion. So the second title of this chapter is Prelude for Strange Stars. So we see the main characters Momo in the middle, Renji on the right and Kira on the left. The main theme of this chapter is the meeting of these three and how they will make their path towards the Gote 13, and this path that will end with each one of them in a specific division. And as you can see, Kobo illustrated the characters working, and also between the scenes Kobo had written sentences like a poem that depicting the journey that the three characters are undertaking and how it may end with them separating. And despite the possibility of this thing happening, their bond will remain strong and solid. And this is what we will see in the end of the chapter. Also, the exchanged looks between Kira and Momo suggest that they will continue to maintain a close relationship, since Kira will be the vice captain of Gin and Momo the vice captain of Aizen. And as we know, Gin and Aizen were close to each other, while Renji was looking in the opposite direction, as if he was following something far from him. And this what will make him escape from the hands of Aizen, because Renji's goal will emerge after Rocky is going with Byakuya. And in the following pages, we will see a look at the background of both Momo and Kira. Momo, as it appears, was living with Toshiro and the grandmother in the Rekongai. And this explains why Toshiro cares so much about Momo. She at least considers him like her little brother. And I don't know about Toshiro. Anyway guys, Hinamori was heading to the academy. On the other hand, we saw Kira in front of his parents' grave. Unlike Renji and Momo, who belongs to the Rekongai, Kira belongs to a noble family. Of course not of the same status as the Kyoraku family or the 5 great noble families, but it is still one of the noble families that exist in the Soul Society. In the next scene, we will see the first meeting between Kira, Renji as well as Rukia. Renji was sleeping on top of a tree branch next to the grave of Kira's parents, and it seems that when he wanted to turn around or something like that, he fell to the ground, and that is where it was the first meeting between the three. This event was a little bit different in the anime, and as it appeared in episode 46, Renji and Rukia were coming from the Rekongai and were late for the entry time because Renji was sleeping on a tree and Rukia was looking for him, so they were in a hurry to go to the academy, while Kira appeared in front of his parents' grave, as in the manga, but without meeting Renji. Their meeting will take place after we see the presentation scenes of the Shinigami Academy that took place in the manga and the anime, and this is frankly an important event, because as I said, both Kira, Momo and Renji as well as Rukia have enrolled in one of the higher schools in the Soul Society, the Shinigami Academy, and before joining, prospective students must pass the entrance exam, and based on the score that each student gets, they put him in a specific class. So when the 4 of them took this test, Kira, Momo and Renji all got a higher score, which led them to join the first class, the elite class, while Rukia, she got a good score, however she went to the second class. Therefore, the first day at the academy was important for everyone. This is precisely the message conveyed by the academy leadership as they warmly welcomed the students, emphasizing the rich history of this prestigious academy. And as it was said, the Shinigami Academy bears the pride of 2000 years of history, and this pride would not have been possible without this person, Yamamoto. Yamamoto, as I always say, has changed the city a lot, and he had given an opportunity to many souls who don't live in the city to have the chance to become first-class Shinigami, so that this academy, as we read, is interested in forming Shinigami in all the 3 fields, Kido, Umitsukido, as well as the most important unit, the Gote 13. Of course, what I said about the elite class and who is capable to join it, it was explained by this professor who said something I would have liked to see it at the end of the story. So when he explained how to join the elite class, he emphasized that this shouldn't cause them to slack off in their duties, but rather they should strive to one day lead the divisions that they would join. And I mean, it would have been a good thing to see this trio as the captains in the future, especially Renji and Kira. They have all the qualifications to become a captains. As for Momo, she would have been better than she is now, especially since she is the only female who possesses a female Zanpakuto. However, her relationship with Aizen Sasuke affected the course of her life, not only her but even Kira's, and this is a topic we will talk about in detail shortly. The important thing is that Kobo moved directly to some scenes between Kira and Renji, and how the latter is preparing to go on a mission with Kira and the other elite class members to the real world. As for the anime, before this event, they showed scenes that I think are good. They explain what the Shinigami training is like, as well as some other scenes between Renji and Kira. For example, we saw how the students learn to use Kido, so that Kira and Momo showed high proficiency in using Kido, while Renji, in one of his famous scenes, wanted to use the Kido technique from the beginning without pronouncing the full incantation, which made him look like this, like a grilled chicken. In addition to this, the studio also added other scenes that explain more how Aizen and Momo's relationship arose, such as the scene in which Aizen Sasuke came to the academy students. At the time, Gin was still his vice captain, and Aizen Sasuke's visit was not innocent, but he was searching for prominent students who he might need in his hidden plans. And as soon as Momo saw Aizen Sasuke, she became attached to him and wanted to be in his division, and this is what she told Toshiro whenever she came to her house during vacation times. And as I said, these scenes were not in the manga chapter, but I find them good because they clarify many things. After that, whether in the manga or the anime, we will move on to the training mission that the trio Kira, Renji and Momo will go to, which also knew a change in the anime, and frankly I didn't like it. I wish they had kept the same mission that was in the manga, because I consider it something essential in the Shinigami training and how Kobo sees it. And as we have seen, Hisagi Shuhei was the supervisor of the mission that would go to the human world, and as Kira said, Hisagi was one distinguished Shinigami. Before he even graduated from the academy, he had been accepted in the Goji 13 and would be ranked as an officer. And so the mission that the team was going to undertake was to test the console. Yes, in the anime the mission was about killing some fake holos, but in the manga the mission was how to do the console, especially since this task can be considered one of the most important things that a Shinigami can do because they guide souls, and as we can see here, doing it incorrectly can be painful. However, in the midst of carrying out this mission, it seems that Aizen Sasuke was conducting as usual some experiments on the holos, so that several huge holos appeared without Hisagi and the rest being aware of them. Unfortunately, the attack was sudden and deadly. Hisagi's teammate Kanizawa was killed immediately. And regardless of the fact that this operation was carried out by Aizen Sasuke, it becomes clear to you guys that the ordinary holo creatures are not that easy ones. We are the readers. After we progressed in reading the manga or watching the anime, we began to see them as a mere ants, especially since the level of combat that raised from fighting an ordinary holo to fight a vassal lord. But in the end, a normal holo is a real obstacle for ordinary officers. And many Shinigamis lost their lives because of normal holos, not even Gin or Adyokas, especially since many of them have just begun to learn the basics of Shinigami, have just learned to use some Kido technique and only possess ordinary swords, as such. Perhaps the beginning of the Quincy arc and what happened to Yuki and Shino is a prominent example of that. But on the other hand, that incident showed that some students are outstanding and have good aspects of their personality, and they were the three, Kira, Momo and Renji, when they came to help Hisagi. And I think this among other things that made Aizen Sasuke set his eyes on them. So at the right time, Aizen came with Gin and eliminated all the holos. So how Aizen and Gin entered, as they were the captain and the vice captain, something that brought a kind of dread to the hearts of the three, as well as a desire to be like them one day. Renji didn't say anything about that, especially since at the time Renji's goal wasn't yet formed. The real goal of Renji will appear when Rukia moves away from him, when Byakuya takes her from his hands and she becomes a Kuchiki. Then Renji will take another path. But at the time, all the three will be joined Aizen Sasuke's division, the 5th division, and here is where Aizen Sasuke's true influence on them will begin. And those who were most affected were Momo and Kira. Momo grew attached to Aizen Sasuke, while Kira remained there in the squad for a while, and also spent some time in 4th division. But in the end, he moved with Gin to the 3rd squad, when Gin became captain of that division. The only one who escaped from Aizen's grip, so to speak, was Renji. Because he was a troublemaker, Aizen decided to send him to the 11th division, and he served there as a 6th officer, until he was appointed vice captain of the 6th division. And this event was also mentioned in another side chapter, so both Kira and Momo came to congratulate him. Renji, who will finally become vice captain, after Kira became the vice captain of the 3rd squad, and Momo became the vice captain of the 5th squad. And that's what I liked about the three. Their relationship remained strong even after they separated. And this is what Kobo talked about in the chapter. the three will continue to move forward, even if this means that their path may end in separation, that each one of them will take a different path from the other. And as you can see when Kobo made this page at the beginning of the chapter, the three were together, but in the end of the chapter he made this page where they became vice captains. Their shadows indicate how their path differed, but at the same time there is still a unified path that brought them together, and they will return to it whenever the chance arises. So guys, what do you think about this story, this background in this relationship between Kira and Momo and Renji, and how do you see it? Give me guys your opinions in the comments, and see you in my next video.